Hi, I want to talk about getting college students back on campus. Perhaps you've already seen my other video where I talk about school kids going back to school, and these are a lot of similar suggestions, but these are specific to college campuses. So the pandemic caught us very flat-footed and unprepared, and I'm hoping that with 4.5 months to plan, we can plan for our students to go back to campus efficiently. So the virus is going to be with us for a long time. It's not going away. In fact, it's going to be with us forever. The vaccine is going to take at least another year, and we can't keep students off campuses for another year. So I'm going to give you some of my suggestions. I'd love to hear what your suggestions are as to how we can put students safely on campus. We have to understand that there's no such thing as zero risk, but just as we don't shut down the campus for influenza, I think once we get to a certain point, we will not need to shut the campus down for the coronavirus. So here are my ideas. First, I think visitors should be banned from the campus unless they have business at the campus and someone is waiting for them to arrive. People who do visit the campus must be willing to subject themselves to the protocols that are in place. Visiting professors can stream in. So let's start at the beginning. For people returning to campus, ideally they should all get a coronavirus test before they come back to campus. So students should be encouraged to visit their primary care physicians before they come back to campus. This might sound a little unpleasant or draconian, but actually it's not, because if you think about it, new students always go to the doctor for an exam before they start campus, and they also have their immunization records reviewed, they're given meningitis vaccines, etc. So when they go for this annual physical, they can get their coronavirus test at the same time. Those students who do not get their coronavirus test before they come back to campus should be directed to the school nurse to get the test done. So the next thing is that everyone arriving on campus should have their temperature taken. There are some contactless scanners that people can walk through, and you can see who has a temperature and who does not. If someone has a temperature above 99 degrees, they should be directed to the school nurse's office. Also, one of the advantages of seeing the doctors before they come back on campus, high-risk students can be monitored for their own safety. Professors should wear masks and gloves for two reasons. Number one, they want to set an example to their students, so everyone is fully aware of what's going on. Number two, the professors speak louder and gesticulate a lot, and so they're more likely to aerosolize the virus. Students in the classroom should have social distancing as far as possible, but the desks should be rearranged so that no students are sitting directly next to each other, directly opposite each other, or in front of another person. Everyone, including the staff and the custodial staff, the students, and the parents should have health education, public health education, showing them why all these measures are important. This may seem pretty straightforward and obvious at this point, but we know that across the United States there have been different ways of handling the coronavirus, and so some students may be a little more cavalier than others, and it's always good to go through the protocols and health education of how coronavirus is actually spread. So let's talk about scheduling. For students that prefer to do online classes, and assuming that there are classes available, maybe some students would prefer to get all their classes online at one time for a particular semester. And that way you won't have as many students on campus. Or it may be required that some students do online classes for one semester or half a semester during the year, and so you can stagger the amount of students who are on campus. The library should limit the number of students in the library at any one time. Also, in the cafeteria, I would suggest to just stagger meal times and arrange the tables once again so that there's no more than 4 students at a table. And social distancing guidelines are in operation as students get their food. Class procedure. So every student should be given hand sanitizer on the way into the class, and this is easily administered by the professor at the door, in addition to the contactless thermometer. The classroom, if possible, should be aired out for 5 minutes whenever possible, and custodial staff should sanitize the classrooms daily. Also, if there is a shuttle bus, it can be sanitized at the end of the day, and the windows should be kept open at least 3 inches to significantly decrease the concentration of airborne contaminants. So let's talk about the building itself. There are some building modifications that can be done. It's called Healthy Building Strategies, and I borrowed these from the Harvard Gazette that was published on the 24th of April this year. The goal is to optimize the building ventilation, filtration, and purification, and increase the flow of outside air, install portable air purifiers, and swap out existing filters so that they can filter smaller particles. School counselors should be available with adequate training to help students who are grieving the loss of loved ones, the loss of freedom, the loss of normalcy as they know it. I believe if these procedures are put in, students can return to these classrooms, and the sooner the better. So I would love to hear what your comments are on my suggestions, and if you have some additional ones. If you know any educators, please forward this video to them. I would love to hear, and let's start the conversation.